that I'm literally going to be graduating this week. And it's crazy, it's scary, it's exciting, it's a lot of things. So it's finally here, and it's just unreal because it really feels like I need more classes. Like, I don't know, maybe it was this semester having been switched online and it made the time for school seem shorter. Maybe for others it maybe feels longer. I don't know. To me, it felt a lot more quicker switching over to just online. Maybe because I'm so used to the commute to going to school, and I stay there. When I go to school, I stay there all day. I stay in the ILC. I work on the computer and on the labs, and it was like my office. It was my time of study. It was my time to work, and that's how I did things. So switching to online and working from home was a big transition, at least for how I did things for school. Working on my laptop is way different than working on the Mac computer and the Mac labs, which I love. I love those computers so much. And that's why I decided to just focus on my time and energy of working on those computers versus coming home and doing it. Only because I feel like there's more time and more space to focus and work with, high quality computers, and everything's there, and it worked out for me. So it was a big transition switching over to my HP computer laptop, and it's an older computer, and it gave me a lot of trouble in the beginning and made things work. And here we are, almost done, just a week away, and literally a couple assignments to turn in. And yeah, so enough about that. For everything that I've accomplished this semester and my entire time at San Jac. So in the beginning, when I first attended San Jac, I was going for a computer science degree, and it was a lot more technical. It was a lot harder. There was a whole lot more classes, a whole lot. And I was really, putting my time and money into that degree. And I was working my butt off. And I took a philosophy class, which was required for that degree. And I kind of just learned a lot, learned a lot about myself and learned a lot about just different perspectives on life. And, just kind of really opened up my mind and just made me think that this degree is not for me, and that this was not my path to go on. So I decided to switch degrees when I was like probably 45 or 46% done with the degree, the computer science. And I just decided, hey, I'm going to switch my degree plan, and I'm going to go for a degree that suits me better. That's not as technical, than I wanted to be. I mean, I know that it's important to have classes that focus on working on computer skills, because, that's the future, But the way it was going, it wasn't, because, everyone in my family that knows me, or everyone that knows me, knows that I am into art. I love art. I'm a great artist. I'm very creative, and that should be the way I should go. And the degree that I was on, the computer science, was not taking me to that path. So I knew that I had to change it now before it was too late, and I've already pursued it way more than I could turn around. I could just be like, okay, well, I'm almost done. Might as well finish this degree and start a new one, And so I wasn't too upset I wasn't too upset to change the degree plan. I felt like doing this would make me happier in the long run, and actually I did. Everything worked out. I was happier going to school, happier taking different classes. I enjoyed the courses. I enjoyed the professors. They, you know, the classes and the projects and the assignments were a lot more engaging and more fun and more creative, uh, you know, more creative freedom than the classes from the other course or from the other degree. So I feel good about doing that decision back when I was at a crossroads and didn't know what I was going to do, or like what, because it kind of sucks, like investing time into one thing and then it wasn't made to, plan out or to unfold all the way, and it felt like you wasted a little time, but at the same time you gained a lot of experience and skill along the way, and you were more seasoned college student, and versus some students just straight out of high school and still trying to unfold things and trying to figure out what the heck they're doing. So everyone's going to be there. And it's not uncommon for college students, to decide halfway or midway through and be like, this is not for me and this is not what I want to do, and I want to decide to switch over to something else. So, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's done that and decided halfway through that this is not for me. So that was that, and I enjoyed my classes. Afterwards, I took a lot of my art classes in San Jac North Campus, and I had Professor Joe Clark, and he was really cool man. And he taught us a little bit about the InDesign skills and the Illustrator skills, and not only that, but also how to present your work on a board, or just presenting it professionally, in general, clean cuts, just like really important skills that kind of went over through to all my classes for this degree. So and I took him for art history, and he was great in that class. Very, most classes like that in the history classes, you get a little sleepy because they're always doing presentations and stuff. But he kept the classroom live, He was a very engaging professor, and, really cool man, really cool dude, and just very similar to like Professor Yost, very on down to earth and kind of, just casual and not so uptight and strict, So that was a cool classes. I had them for like 3 or 4 classes actually. Let's see. Next question. So, well, just to sum up, San Jac has been great. I've loved all my classes. Everything's been good. I've been to every campus. I've taken a class on every campus, Central, South, North. And so I feel like I really got the whole college San Jac experience. Let's see. So let's see. What would you change? What did you want to learn more about? I would probably tell the board of directors or whoever's in charge of the art department of San Jac and tell them like, hey, y'all need to add a class to the degree plan that focuses just on InDesign and maybe Illustrator too. So the class would focus on both of those, or one. I'll probably lean more towards InDesign because, it's very vital to know those skills in InDesign. And it is used a lot in a lot of classes. but there was very little training, very little discussion or lecturing on the skills or the tools to create a project in InDesign. I mean, there was like a couple times, maybe like at least a week's worth of lectures throughout the whole degree plan. I would say at least a week if you count each day that we worked on it, or not worked on it, but like as far as got in a lecture from it. Probably, so it was very little time. And I know because we're so focused on other softwares from the Creative Cloud that we didn't have a lot of time to delve into it. But I feel like it is a very important software to know as much as Photoshop, because we have a whole class dedicated to Photoshop. And I feel like Photoshop is good and there's a lot of good things about it, but I feel like as a designer, you want to know a lot more about InDesign. So I feel like that should be added. That would be beneficial for future students. Okay, next question. Are you ready for the next steps? What are the next steps? Okay, so I don't think anybody's ever like fully ready. You just gotta dive into it and just be like, just go for it and just keep looking forward. Just not hesitate, or it's always going to be scary for change, for the next step afterwards. Changing is good, but it's a little scary. But it's gonna be scary because it's the unknown. But everything works out in the end, and I think just being positive will just make things easier. What did I want to? Or I already read that, huh? Next steps. Okay, that's what we're on. Sorry. Okay, so the next step, I would probably be going to another college and continuing my education for web design, and possibly pursue a certificate, or I'll look into a degree plan if there is one, but definitely do web design or work on doing a business degree, because I feel like that would be a good thing to know. Eventually have my own business to run, and then have my design skills to have like brand my own company, that would be really cool. Okay, let's see, where do babies come from? I think everyone knows that, including Professor Yost, so we don't have to talk about that. Why is Professor Yost the best teacher you ever had? Okay, so Professor Yost is pretty awesome, and I think everyone here knows that. He's very down to earth, and like I said earlier, he's very casual guy, and unlike other professors, he understands every student, and he understands that everyone has a life outside the college doors, and he knows that things can happen. People have issues, or with work or with family, and some people work full-time, some people have kids, and understands that there's life that happens outside of the school. And so he's willing to work with every student, because he has a goal of all of his students passing. He wants everyone to graduate and to be successful, and he works his butt off trying to help everyone. Anyone who asks for his help, he's always there. And anyone who has asked for advice, he's also always there. And he gives blunt critiques and blunt advice, and that's just who he is. But that's important to have someone to give it to you straight, and but still at the same time be there for you for support, and always just very helpful, very cool and funny guy. And for as a professor, he's like not strict. He's, for the most part, I know he has his pet peeves, like, okay, want it in this time, but he gives everyone a heads up, especially when he's gonna be strict about a certain thing, and that's understandable. But for the most part, he's very flexible to his students, and he knows things are crazy for college students, and he is a lot more down to earth professor and casual, I would say. And I really like professors that kind of reach out to his students on that level, on a personal level, and be like, outside, the classroom doors, or outside this lecture, there's, people are going through things. People, have just regular lives, and that he understands that, It's not just structured, hey, we got to follow this, and this is the, da da da, So he's, that's what makes him cool. Let's see. What is the meaning of life? Well, we do not know that yet, or at least I don't. The simple questions. So, I think for the most part, these questions weren't hard. They are questions that you can go on and on about, but it's the questions that you're just reflecting on about school, reflecting on about life. What's the next step? How has it been, the whole college career thing? Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I would do it again. I think if I had a chance to do it all over, I would do it again. Okay, all right. Thank you, class, for listening. I know it was probably a long video. Next week is our last week, so thanks for listening, and I will talk to y'all later.